welcome back. We left off last time with getting these bottom seat pieces attached. Now we're on to the rear seat pieces, and you can see here I've got the pieces there glued and clamped and out of the bending form. They're ready to go. Just like with these bottom seat pieces, I need to cut those pieces to width and to length. I need to cut notches out of one of the pieces. I need to cut curves for the top and bottom piece. And I'll take care of that the exact same way I did these bottom seat pieces, which you've already seen. So what I'll do is I'll get those pieces cleaned up and cut and shaped off camera, and then we can move on to making the plugs that we're going to use to fill these holes where the screws are attached. So let me go ahead and take care of that. I'll check back in and we'll go from there. All right, here's one of the rear seat pieces, and you can see the pilot hole is drilled there. And the pilot hole itself goes all the way through the piece, but you can hopefully see that at the upper portion of this pilot hole there's a larger cavity, and that's what we're going to plug. And first, the way that the pilot hole is made, the pilot hole itself is made with this a standard drill bit, but what's attached to that is a countersink. And if you look at it from this angle, hopefully you can see that the countersink has a greater diameter than the drill bit, and this is what creates that larger cavity at the top of the pilot hole, and that's what we're going to plug. We've got to make 60 of these plugs, and I suppose you could do this by hand somehow, but I can't imagine how much time that would take and how frustrating it would be, and they probably wouldn't look all that great. So what we're going to do instead is use a plug cutter, and a plug cutter does exactly what its name implies. It cuts plugs, and the plug cutter and the countersink come as a pair. The plug cutter is designed to cut plugs that perfectly fit the cavity created by the countersink. And the way it works is you take the plug cutter and go over to the drill press and cut a series of plugs. And you end up with something like this. And you can see the plugs here. It doesn't cut all the way through, so the plugs are still attached to the wood. And so what we do now is take this over to the bandsaw, and we will slice this piece of wood at the proper depth, and that will release the plugs, and then we can then take those plugs and tap those into the pilot holes covering up those screws. Alright, and that's how you plug those screw holes. Only got 59 more to do. What I'll do now is cut all the plugs, get those ready to go, and then I'll just go ahead and attach these rear seat pieces. They attach just like the other seat pieces, and I'll get all the plugs in, and then at that point we just need to do some final cleanup, a little bit of sanding, and we'll be ready to throw a coat of tung oil on this. Alright, as you can see, this chair is fully constructed. All that's left to do now is put on a coat of tung oil, and we're done. Alright, so there you have it. These chairs are done. This project's in the books. Even managed to snag one of these chairs for myself. This one's made out of ash. The other two were made out of cherry. This was actually the first chair that I made, or to be more precise, the first successful chair that I made. As I've indicated throughout this series, there were a lot of challenges and issues presented in designing and putting these chairs together, and because of that there were a lot of failed chair parts, a lot of failed partial chair frames, but this was the first successful one I was able to make, and so I'm gonna hang on to this one. Never intended for this video series to be quite this long. but as I hopefully have demonstrated, these chairs are fairly unique and presented quite a few challenges in terms of design or construction, and I wanted to highlight those and show how I worked through those. And then there were some other questions that people had about these chairs that I wanted to touch on. So I felt that kind of to do this chair or this project justice, it did require quite a bit of time. I have no intention of doing any kind of project of this length in the future, but I've learned quite a bit in doing this project, and I've gotten some good feedback from folks from some of the earlier episodes or videos. Hopefully this has gotten a little better as it's gone along, but if nothing else, I've learned quite a bit in this process and can hopefully take that and going forward, create videos and other content that is that much better. So as always, I appreciate you watching. If you got any questions or comments, throw them in the comment section. Hit me up on Facebook. Shoot me an email, whatever works for you. If you've enjoyed this or are interested in what we're going to be producing or putting out in the future, hit that subscribe button. So as always, thanks again for watching, and we'll hopefully see you when the next project hits the airwaves.